Jeff Benscover, Alderman, District 4.
Jay Catmull, Alderman, District 5.
Dennis Pollock, District 6.
Madeline Palmquist, District 8.
Ben Goodrow, Fire Chief.
Matt Zacher, Mayor.
Tim Sorcy, Finance Director.
Thank you, everyone. Item 2, discuss and approve a procedure to take on completing repairs to the city garage Butler building caused by the July 6th fire. Paul?
Yeah, so thank you. Just wanted to have a conversation as to what you guys want to see as a procedure moving forward. As it states in the referral, we had a fire in one of our outside storage buildings, cold storage buildings that had mostly equipment and some dry goods and things like that as far as material goes. The initial thought is that there really wasn't going to be much of a claim except for the 2 pieces of equipment that were lost in the fire. And then talking with some people, you know, it may grow because there is PVC fittings that are in that building that may have been exposed to heat. But as of right now, we can't really, or don't really have any direction on that. So the city is obviously insured. We have, I think it is 3 separate insurance companies that we're working with. Because there was a piece of equipment and vehicles in there is one claim, or vehicles is one insurance company, then the construction equipment is another insurance company, and then the building is a third insurance company. If Tim, you have to correct me if I'm wrong, but the equipment is $1,000 deductible, and the construction equipment and vehicles, I'm sorry, is $1,000 deductible, and then the building is a $25,000 deductible that has to be met. I didn't include it in the packet originally, but I handed it out to you this morning, or sorry, here this afternoon. It's a list of things that were damaged on the building, proposed cleaning costs of the building, and then a list of contents that we think may need to be replaced, but we don't have any clarification on that yet. And then the bottom page was the 3 pieces of equipment that there was, number 1, possible damage to and or total loss. The Unit 151 and Unit 320 are total loss pieces of equipment that we're working through. That last piece, Unit 82, was our bucket truck, and it originally failed in inspection, but then through additional cleaning, the inspection passed, so we won't have to do anything as far as replacement on that piece. In the referral document, just lists what the procedure is supposed to be for approval, or who has the authority at different approval levels, just in case you weren't aware of that. So ultimately, the mayor can approve expenditures of $10,000 or less, and then the Finance and Property Committee approves anything more than $10,000. So, like I say, just wanted you, number 1, if you weren't aware that there was a fire, that we have damage and claims, and then have a conversation as to what your expectations are of us and what you want to see and don't see. So.
Thank you. Real quick, is anybody sitting in for Mike?
He said he was going to.
I'm here.
Okay, good.
Online?
We missed you on the introduction, sorry.
No worries.
All right. So committee, everybody's had a chance to review the packet, and now Paul has spoken to that. What are your wishes?
I'd make a motion to approve that.
So,
Second.
all right. Got a motion by Tim, second by Veneman to approve, because the recommendation was to allow staff with approval from the mayor to approve estimates on repairs and cleaning, then come back to Finance and Property to get approval for future replacement and damaged equipment. So is that what the motion was, to approve that process, or do you have a different?
Correct. No, motion to approve that process, yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, so motion by Tim, second by Veneman. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Thank you. Item 3, consider a referral from Alderperson Pensacola for discussion and presentation regarding installation of a safe haven baby box. No action will be taken on this item tonight. This is going to be an informational take-in session. So I'm going to toss it to you, and then if we got presenters, bring them on up.
Well, I've finally been forced to prepare some written comments. This is something that's new to me, so if it sounds a little rough, it is what it is. This all started with a brief conversation one morning between me and Linda Casper. We included Sue Smith, the Director of Health here in Wood County, County Board Supervisor John Holcamp, and I would be remiss in this if I didn't mention my wife Marilyn, who plays a big part in all of this. We scheduled a meeting in June with the mayor, the city attorney, and the fire chief, Ben Goodrow, to present the Safe Haven Baby Box program. They all agreed they needed some time to digest all the information, as it was quite a bit. We then scheduled a follow-up July meeting in which the city expressed some hesitation and resistance to this, being located at the fire station at 1511 12th Street South here in Rapids. We thought about it and decided that maybe there might be other options, namely the Wood County Courthouse and Aspirus Hospital. We received a kind of a hard no from the courthouse because of the security concerns, the cameras, and the anonymity of all this. And we have yet to hear from Aspirus. I'm not quite sure how that's going to end up, but I've got a feeling that the best thing we can do would be to bring it back here to council for a discussion. 80% of the Safe Haven baby boxes are located in fire departments across the United States. My original referral was to have stated to initiate a conversation at the Finance and Property Committee August 5th on the feasibility of a Safe Haven baby box at the East Side Fire Station, and to pass it on to City Council for a discussion and a possible probable vote. During the course of my referral, I was drawing it up and I was engaged in a conversation with somebody which kind of messed up my words and it was somewhat misconstrued. This is on me. The chairman of this committee would prefer to take no action on this tonight, and I guess I will leave that where it stands. This program is an all-around win for all involved. The nearest Safe Haven baby box is located in Reedsburg, Wisconsin, 1.5 hours away from here. There are currently 5 of these in the state of Wisconsin. We have fundraisers, and they are eager to get to work, starting to raise funds for this project. We have spoken with the Wood County Sheriff's Office and the Wood County Health and Human Services, and they are on board with full support, along with a huge number of our citizens. Financing for this endeavor will be raised by various organizations throughout our community. All we need is the go-ahead to go. Wisconsin Rapids has an opportunity to be a leader here in central Wisconsin. With that said, I guess I'd like to turn it over to Linda Casper, if she would take the podium. There's a microphone up there, Linda, with a button.
Yep, come on up, Linda. And I just wanted to speak to why I placed that we would not take action on this item tonight with bringing it back next month at Finance and Property. There's a contract associated with this, which maybe you can speak to. And also just to determine exactly discussions tonight of where we want it to go, but then take the time to figure out how to get it there. But when, at the next finance and property meeting, we will need the official contract for Safe Haven. Go ahead, sir.
Green button.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. My name is Linda Casper, and I'm here tonight to tell you a little bit more about the Baby Box project that myself and Jeff and John and Sue Smith have been working on for the last several months. Probably a lot of what I'm going to say, Jeff has already told you, so you might be hearing a little bit of a repeat. But my goal tonight is to just share information with you about them. And for those of you who don't know, the Safe Haven Law was established in Wisconsin in 2001, and this law allows a parent to leave their unharmed newborn baby with a police officer, an EMT, or a hospital staff member. In December of 2023, the Safe Haven Law was expanded to include the installation of a temperature-controlled, ventilated Safe Haven baby box in police stations, fire departments, and hospitals. So it was a closing of the loop of the law that was established in 2001. The baby box that we would like to have installed here are made in Woodburn, Indiana, at the Safe Haven Baby Box Company. Monica Kelsey is the CEO of this company, and she founded it in 2015. Monica made it her life's mission to establish this company after first seeing a baby box in use in Cape Town, Africa, and also because she too had been abandoned as a child. Does everybody have the packet? Otherwise, did you distribute the packet? Okay. If you look at the baby box in your packet that I shared, there are pictures of this box. And as Jeff mentioned, there are boxes currently in Wisconsin in Reedsburg, in Racine, Howard, Salem Lake, Whitewater, the 5 that Jeff mentioned, and about 2 weeks ago, they just recently added Watertown. Every state in our country has a safe haven law, but only 25% of them have the baby box law. There are almost 375 boxes nationwide with, as Jeff mentioned, 80% installed in fire departments. Every year, many babies are abandoned in the United States. While each situation is unique, some parents find themselves in a crisis that lead to desperate or unsafe decisions for their child. I'm sure most of you here remember the story about the couple from Millador in 2019. I don't have all the details regarding that situation, but I do remember that the baby didn't live. And maybe the outcome for that little boy could have been different if that couple had known about the Safe Haven Law. This tragedy and several others that have happened currently or recently in Wisconsin are the reason why there's a need for a safer alternative for parents to surrender their child anonymously if they choose to, with the help of a baby box, giving that baby a chance to live and ultimately to be adopted. Just having the knowledge of the Safe Haven Law, most parents opt to surrender their baby in person, which is why there aren't many that are surrendered to boxes. If you look at the picture of the baby box in your folder, you can see that there's a 24-hour crisis hotline phone number posted on the outside of the box. There's no data on this, but the assumption is that when parents approach the box and see the number and they choose to surrender in person. However, if that's not a choice, anonymity of a box is still the option of surrender. Also, the publicity around having a safe haven box in a community further educates people on the law. If you're curious about how the baby boxes work, I can explain that a little. When the box is opened, a 911 call goes out to dispatch. When the baby is placed in the bassinet and the door is closed and locked, another 911 call goes out to dispatch. Then it's a matter of rescuing the baby from the box and getting it to the hospital so that they can be taken care of. As Jeff and I said, 80% of the boxes across the nation are located at fire departments. The other 20% are either at police stations or hospitals, with a tiny amount actually at the police stations. It's not even 2%. Our group surveyed other fire stations in Wisconsin, and we heard positive feedback from everyone. However, as with anything new, nothing is as easy as it seems on the surface. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to build and ship the baby box, and after installation, there's a lot of testing and training that goes on, and I'm certain there would be a lot of other details to work through. As far as how the baby box would be funded, Jeff alluded to this, there would be no cost to whoever would allow installation. We would fundraise for the entire cost of the box, the materials, the installation, alarm system, and yearly maintenance fees. There are more specific details in your packet regarding all the costs surrounding the baby box. The Safe Haven Baby Box Company doesn't allow any fundraising to start until a contract is signed with a community. So far, we brought this idea, as Jeff mentioned, to the city, to our Wood County officials, the Sheriff's Department and Health and Human Services, and we haven't heard back yet from the hospital. And although we haven't heard back from the hospital, everybody we talked to is in support of this project. With that said, if we're all in support of this and we all realize that this would be something positive for our community and for the greater central Wisconsin area, my question is how can we make this happen, knowing what we know today, so that no more babies have to be abandoned and left to die? Anybody have any questions?
Anybody have any questions? I have, okay. So when I was researching this, with the referral coming in, the contract specifically, I don't know if we're gonna get a copy, we'll need to get a copy of it before the next meeting, but when we do, can you just talk a little bit about that and what the expectations are for wherever this is decided to be put? If the committee and council decides to move forward, like what are the expectations of those who house and maintain the box in the contract?
As far as expectations, as far as like the testing, the training?
Yeah, so
I haven't personally seen the contract. I think Nick has seen the contract, and I think
Yeah.
the contract was shared with the mayor. Was the contract sent or to the city attorney that you guys looked at it? I know Sue Smith, the nurse, said she had sent it to, thought she had sent it to the city officials, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But I know Nick had it. So,
okay, well, we'll figure it out. If I just didn't know if you had that information or
If
not, but
the deal with the contract is they only want to send it to the people who are actually eligible to sign it. So I can't get a copy of it. If it goes to the city, then the city attorney looks at it. If it goes to like the Wood County Sheriff's Department, then whoever the counsel is for that department gets a copy of the contract. If it would go to the hospital, whoever's in charge of signing it would get the copy of the contract. They don't just send it out.
yeah, understandable. Being that this committee would be the one that the decision would come out of, I think if the contract's sent to the city attorney or,
And I can get that. They have a weekly call that I join every weekend, Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. And if there's anything, they're very reachable and very helpful. I mean, they offer all the training, they help with fundraising. They're very easy. They seem very easy to work with.
excellent. Well, thank you, and thank you for presenting today.
If anybody would like a little copy of the recap, I did of the fire departments that we surveyed. Sue Smith created a survey and asked each one similar questions, and I just recapped it on a spreadsheet. It's pretty tiny, but if anybody wants that, I put it in the folders that I was going to give out, but I think Jeff gave everybody a copy of the information packet.
Yep, it was in the packet, so if anybody hasn't gotten the chance to read that, that is out there. It's great information.
They also have a really nice website. If you go on the website, it shows interactive maps of all the states in the country that have the baby boxes, and they're adding, I follow them on social media, and it seems like they're adding 3 boxes a week. It's really nice to see that, and so I'm hoping we can get one for central Wisconsin some way. So, thank you all for listening to my spiel.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for your time.
Yep.
Do we have any other speakers?
Anybody else would like to get up and speak, I guess now's the time. But I think Linda pretty much covered 95% of it.
Awesome. Well, we'll leave it to committee discussion then. I'll kick it off. I think that the safe haven law is great. I think these boxes are great. I'm excited to have this conversation. Of course, there's some process that has to happen yet in determining where we're going to put it, and taking a look at the contract. So sounds like there's been some ideas on where to put it, or if we want to discuss that, the possibilities of where it could go. We could do that tonight, or we could do it at the next time when we're considering it for approval, but we have an opportunity now.
I'd like to see it discussed at city council. I think we have adequate time to look at the contracts, go over what we need to go over, and maybe extend the conversation if we're ready to make a decision at that time. We are. And if we need to extend it a little longer, that would be my suggestion.
I would agree with Jeff. I'm not sure why there was no action going to be taken on this tonight. I think we've all received enough information between the 3 of us to make an educated guess or, and provide an answer to go to council for full committee approval. Can we do that, Jake? Can we push it as an agenda item to common council with a motion?
Not on this item, I believe, but I can confer with Sue. So we don't even have the contract for this, which is from.
Yep, I understand that, but I think that might be putting the cart before the horse a little bit. Because if it doesn't get approved at council, then we don't even need to look at the contract. My suggestion is get it moving, get it started. If we get approval, then look at the contract and places to put it at that time. If the contract doesn't work out, then I guess it doesn't work out. But I think that would be the process to take.
Okay, and then the other thing is we would need to have a consensus or council consensus on where we're going to put it. So that's why I figured tonight would be discussion, informative, because those 2 decisions, making a decision on accepting this contract and where we're going to put it, have to happen tonight to get considered at council.
Correct, but there's only so many places it can be put, correct? And I think majority of those are fire departments.
Well, I'm not the expert. I'll let someone else speak to that. Go ahead, Justin.
I support the installation of the safe haven box. I think it serves a purpose that is immeasurable. And then I think it makes sense to have it at the fire department. Symbolically, the fire department, the firehouses have been always a place of refuge. When someone needs help or when they're scared in crisis, the firehouse is somewhere they often turn to. Importantly, the fire department is not law enforcement, so that distinction does matter. For someone in distress who may be fearful of legal consequences, the firehouse offers that safety without the threat of or judgment. But I'm curious to see what maybe was the hesitation at first when it was first proposed. Maybe there's something I'm not aware of or missing.
Yeah, I think I've went over that. This came out last week. This brochure was not in. There was simply a referral. There was no contract attached, and at that time, I personally didn't have any other information. I don't know if you've all gathered some since the agenda came out Friday, but at that time, I made the decision that we need to learn more about this, discuss tonight where we want to put it, because I'm sure that will need to be inserted into the contract. And then we will need to decide where we want to put it. It's sounding like fire department, Chief Goodrow. So if you have comments on that, if we're going to put it at the fire department, then we consider that and we would take it back up. And by the way, I'm happy to, if this all for some reason does get hammered out and we want to review a contract before council to get this confirmed or moved along faster, which is what I'm hearing from the committee, I'd be happy to host finance and property before the common council meeting in a couple weeks. But first, again, those couple items, like we have 6 of us here tonight, right? Yep, 6 of us. So if we have a consensus on where we want to put it, let's come to that, and that'll be one step in moving this forward. Go ahead, Dane.
Yeah, I'm totally in favor of this, and I think that the fire department is pretty much the only option, my opinion. So that's where I'm at on it.
Go ahead.
And I wasn't questioning why, we weren't taking action. I was just questioning what was the initial hesitation from the fire, to placing it at the fire department. Maybe I'm not aware of something.
I'd be more than happy to speak.
Go ahead.
Sure. First of all, I want to express my deep appreciation for the conversations that I've had and fully support the mission behind the Safe Haven Baby Box Initiative. I've had the opportunity to talk to many of you, including Linda, who I've never met before, and is passionate about this program, and I learned a ton from her. Jeff is correct. When he presented this idea to me, I had no idea what it entailed. And to be honest, I didn't even know that the law existed because like Linda had stated, it just got put into place in 2023, but obviously fully aware of the Safe Haven laws as they were put in place in 2001. So this program really does offer a life-saving option for those in crisis and represents a compassionate and proactive approach to protecting those most valuable members of our community. The safety and well-being of the babies when we discuss this program or an initiative like this must always be in the highest priority or initiative. That said, as much as we support the proposal and the purpose behind this initiative, I must share that the fire department currently, as I view it, is not a viable host location for the baby box based on the stipulations outlined in the contract that I did receive and was able to review. The Safe Haven program requires 24/7 staffing at the host site, so we need to ensure that there's an immediate response once the baby is placed in the box. Unfortunately, we can't meet this requirement for many different reasons, and our current staffing model doesn't provide the additional staffing to be able to supplement that 24/7 on-site requirement. Just for example, just this Saturday and Sunday over the 4th of July weekend, Paul alluded to it in agenda item number 2, but we had 2 fires over the weekend of the 4th of July. Just Saturday and Sunday alone, there was 10 consecutive hours. We had no staff at Fire Station 1 or Fire Station 2. This kind of highlights that operational gap that could delay that response, which is unacceptable when a child's life's at stake in that box. Other communities kind of have addressed similar challenges, right? So we're not the only, fire department. Other fire departments have looked at this model and looked at the viability of having, say, redundancies in their system. So, for example, when I reached out to all the different fire departments and talked to their administrative staff within Wisconsin here, one example that was given to me was in Howard when I talked to their deputy chief who ran this program. They alluded to the Green Bay Fire Department located just a mile and a half away that provides that backup within the 5 minutes, fulfilling that requirement. And they have a local station, obviously, that's obviously staffed. If they are not, that's able to respond. So in our case, the closest full-time fire department is Plover, Wisconsin, which obviously presents a significantly farther and unacceptable response delay for a program that demands immediate action. After speaking to the other agencies within the state who have initiated this program, their stipulations somewhat differ when it refers to this 24-hour staffing model. And they fulfill that requirement. So one community location that I had spoken to was a box at a community public safety building. So they house many different departments, not just the fire department. And they're kind of meeting that requirement, fulfilling that operationally through that. Additionally, our staff currently faces limitations in the requirements within the contract that they stipulate due to our EMS accreditation. We're one of only 3 EMS accredited EMS agencies within the state, and associated with that are certain security protocols, since we have many different medications and pieces of equipment that are tracked by the DEA. The presence of controlled medications and this specialized equipment really offer us no loophole in the requirements that are set forth in the contract. As I understand it, you need to provide a gap in your real-time security monitoring that faces this this box, and in those situations we're unable to jeopardize that safety of that, and we would lose our accreditation. I can prompt you to a recent example. There was a violent incident that just took place last month at Station 1, where our security helped us significantly protect one of our staff members. And jeopardizing that really is an infrastructure change that I'm unwilling to make. So our facility is not capable of removing the security monitoring, which is required of the program. So I guess in conclusion, while we remain fully committed to the values of the Safe Haven Initiative and the importance of offering the life-saving option to families in crisis, our current limitations prevent us from serving as a responsible and sustainable host site for this time. Our department is fully trained and remains prepared to support, since 2001, the Wisconsin Safe Haven laws, and we allow parents to safely and anonymously surrender a newborn at the fire station without fear of prosecution. We have, and I've committed to Jeff and Linda to work collaboratively. I'd sit on an ad hoc committee or some other type of committee that would be able to push through different types of options or alternatives that we can look through. I had an extensive conversation with the sheriff today too, because he shares my same sentiment that I believe this is a positive initiative for our community, and it's not just Wisconsin Rapids, but it's an overall regional thing that we have to look for a sustainable model for it. So we can look and push through an idea, but I don't want this idea to fall short of the fidelity of the program and what it's intended to provide the community or someone in crisis. So I thank you for yielding some of your time and continue to stay committed to this program, and whatever I can do to assist, I would hope that the committee or this group takes that offer up.
Hey, Ben,
Yes, sir.
is a police officer considered a first responder?
Yes, I believe so, and I'd have to look through the contract or not the contract, the laws for safe harbor, but I believe that in that case, if they drop it at the fire station, it needs to be an emergency medical technician, but if it's at a law enforcement agency, then it can just be a law enforcement first responder, but I could be remiss on that.
So that would cover you guys if nobody is at the department, the deputy or police officer to respond to that?
Yeah, and we've talked about the redundancies in our system. Actually, I had a really good conversation today with the sheriff, and we talked about the limitations on some of this and some of the potential, ways that we could still provide that service. A lot of times, as you know, being in law enforcement in the past, if one agency's busy, most likely we're all tied up on a very similar incident. So we talked about the viability of law enforcement supporting this in the event that people are out of our station, but we would have to take that up, in a bigger conversation, which we're willing to do, and we've had those initial conversations to help bridge that gap for sure.
Yeah, I feel like that, there's not like 10 a week that get dropped off, thankfully, but it's very, very, very rare. And I feel like in those situations, somebody would be able to respond there within 5 minutes. So I understand your concerns, but I would assume there's other options as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I support this program, but my concern is, or question anyway, has the hospital been approached? I mean, I would assume they would have personnel with their emergency room there, where there would be somebody there, 24 hours. And Chief, the answer to the concern I had, that, if there'd be somebody there 24 hours, and it's really a shame that, well, it is what it is.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, this committee has been asked to look at our staffing model many different times, and, if that's something that they want to pursue as a comprehensive package to assist us in remaining at the station, or at least one member 24/7, I'd be more than happy to entertain that conversation too, but a lot of the times we are out, and stretched thin, and we are the primary, service provider for EMS in Southwood County as well, and so that stretches us thin too with our staffing model.
Okay, and the only question I do have is if the hospital was approached and if they were for it or against it. Thank you.
We have made contact with Aspirus at various levels. We've not heard back yet. We've been pushing it somewhat. Some of the people that we have involved with this, they had some medical conditions where they couldn't pursue this as rigidly as what they could have done. But they have been approached. It's always been kind of my experience when you get private entities involved, it's a complication. There's different things that can come into play that government cannot control. If it was a government entity, we have control of it. We can see what it's doing and what it wants to do. If Aspirus would for some reason agree to do this, who's to say in the next 4 or 5 years they might sell out to somebody bigger, and we're kind of in the middle of all of this. My opinion stands, I think we should put it at the fire department. It just solves a whole bunch of problems right here and right now. I'm enjoying this conversation because this is good, hearty conversation. I think if our timetable was correct, we could get the contract to Sue and bring it back to the city council meeting later this August. That's what I would like to see happen.
Before I say what I'm gonna say, oh, you got something? Go ahead, no. Nope, 'cause I'm gonna be like, well,
Okay. So I completely agree. We're in a very unique position in the county. And we have a very unique relationship with our sheriff's office and our county officials that we could work out how to have the box staffed the little time that it's used. I see the issue with having it in a police department and that there's a little bit of a fear there. Sorry to our police friends, or a little bit of judgment. We have the same issue in rural areas when we say you can just go into a hospital. Well, the likelihood that somebody knows the receptionist or a nurse or even an individual at the fire department walking in and seeing somebody they know and having this fear that they need to surrender their child, having that box is completely anonymous. There's no question that if you needed to use it, you could use it or call the resource line. I had plenty of time, even with the packet being completed on Friday and issued, to review the materials. And I agree, if we had the contract, I don't think there's an issue, at least from my end, reviewing that in the next 2 weeks and having questions prepared for council.
I agree.
excellent. So the common council meeting is the 19th. Would committee be comfortable with meeting at 5 o'clock before to finalize a contract for this and the place?
I'm not available that day. I'm not gonna be.
Yes, that works for me as well.
but
Okay,
You would have to.
okay. You think you could find a sub?
Pardon?
You think someone could
I
sub
could
in?
find a sub, I could probably find a sub.
Okay,
I obviously can't find a sub for council that night, but I
Right.
can find a sub for that. yeah.
right, right. Okay, so that meeting will be scheduled on item 13, so we'll discuss that. But closing here, is there anything else on the Safe Haven baby box? Does anybody
For me, it's fine, yeah,
in the audience like to speak?
before council.
All right, well, thank you everyone for the discussion. Look forward to continuing that. And we will do that August 19th at 5 p.m., which we'll also go over in a later item. So, moving on. Item 4, consider for approval a request to contribute up to $11,000 towards the cost of a sports tourism strategic planning proposal from Huddle Up Group, LLC.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Thank you for your motion. At this time, I think we were going to pass to the mayor if you would like to speak on this. Otherwise, Mr. Klingforth's not here. Is there anybody that would like to speak on
Yeah,
this?
yeah, sorry, I got
Okay.
it. Thank you. So we've been meeting for the last couple of months, just having a conversation about putting up a sports complex, where it would be in the city if it were to happen. And we got to the point where, one, we got to figure out is it viable? Is it a saturated market? Is it viable in Wisconsin Rapids, being central location, being at the location we're at, hotels, all the things that go into this. So what this study would do for us is to give us some of those answers from people that are doing this all around the country. And again, there's ups and downs to all of it, but this would give us a clear path forward, whether it's a no or these sports are, it's not saturated and would work well in the building. This is the building you would need if you were to do that, and make some of those decisions on that. This would be coming from room tax dollars, so it wouldn't be coming out of the general fund. It serves a good purpose in terms of being able to help us decide if this is the way to go. If it is the way to go, there's other, implications that it could have in terms of that tourism, money coming to the community, maybe a catalyst for more hotels, which then help the community in tourism in those ways. So that's what this study would do for us, and we're sharing it with the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the school, WRPS, and we're looking for more people to help us with that, but that's where we started so that we could bring it to you guys and decide where to go from there. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Dean,
So
or sorry.
That maximum of 11,000, so that's,
If
so
it-
that's where you're searching for the other fund,
Yeah. If it's split 3 ways right now, it'll be 11 apiece, but we're looking for more people to chip in some, so
Okay.
we can let you know how that goes.
Okay.
So, when we say sports complex, because we have the quadplex, we have the new high school football field.
Indoor,
Indoor. Okay.
sorry. Big building.
Indoor, what complex?
That's what you're talking about, like what
Yeah,
sports?
that's
Yeah.
what the study will kind of
That's what
figure
the
out.
study kind of tells us. I mean, my gut says, like you could put up a dome, but do you want to put up a dome? I don't want to insult people's domes, but I think I would want it to be more permanent for long term.
Right.
But again, those are all decisions we'd have to make more as a group, as a community. But it would be an indoor sports complex, and it would be for specific sports. You try to do as many sports as possible where you can overlay baseball with basketball and volleyball and pickleball and
Got
all
it.
sorts of stuff. So
Got it. Excellent. And just to clarify, this is for a request for funding towards the cost of a strategic planning proposal for this. So, anyone else? Go ahead.
I think this is a great idea. I'm excited about this because I think it's something that would drastically benefit the Wisconsin Rapids area. We are very fortunate to have the sports complex that we do have. But unfortunately, it's still weather permitted. We don't have an indoor facility, if we could bring in some kind of indoor facility, whether it's a dome or similar like structure. I know the nearest one would be the Wisconsin Dells has one, Rylander has one. I've been to events every year, multiple times a year at both of those different domes for different, whether it's wrestling, football camps. I think if we were to bring something here to Wisconsin Rapids, we'd kind of complete that our sports, complex. I know an indoor facility was initially highly talked about when they were planning the sports complex that we do have, but I think it was just not possible because of finances. But if we can make that a reality, I think we'd bring a lot of tourism, a lot of people to this community that we probably didn't realize how much the benefit or the impact would be.
Can someone recognize folks from the audience if they'd like to speak, please?
Yes, they can.
You want me to come up here?
Yeah, come on up. Make sure the mic's on, please, and state your name and address.
Is the mic on? Yes? Okay, Meredith Klecker. I am with the Wisconsin Rapids Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. And I'm here to say a couple words and then to be available for questions. So for over 22 years, the Wisconsin Rapids area has had a very active sports commission that has been engaged in promoting sports for the health of our youth, of our community, and to bring in economic impact. So the state of Wisconsin brought in over $25 billion in economic impact in 2024 from tourism. Wood County alone brought in $115 million in direct visitor spending. I was approached over a year ago, cold called actually, by a construction company interested in building an indoor sports facility in Wisconsin Rapids. And they're a national company. I asked them, why would you contact us? Like, what brought you here? Their answer was, well, Wisconsin is very supportive of sports, and you're in a climate that needs an indoor facility, and you're in the center of the state. So we are ideally suited. We know that we have over 40 sports organizations in the Wisconsin Rapids area that are actively helping the quality of life in our community, and that would be interested in a place to play, or to perhaps the facility could be multi-purpose, right? So depending on what it is, and that's the reason for the study, is to find out what would be viable, what would have a regional impact, and what could we sustain. But whatever it is, they would have a reason to play in the winter and be involved. So the reason we chose this company, we looked at it as a committee, and this is Wisconsin Rapids Public Schools, the city, and a couple other entities, including the county a little bit. So we looked at, is this something that we think together there's interest for? So that answer was yes. So then we looked at what kind of organizations are out there that have the expertise to be able to help us with this. We looked at 2 studies. The group that is before you, Huddle Up Group, has years of experience working with municipalities of all different sizes. And it's not just about a facility. It's about a plan that will work for years about us. In some cases, it's just improving existing facilities. They will look at the region and the area and not duplicate or do things that won't be viable. So that's the reason we chose this group. Are there any questions about it or about the process? Okay.
I'll give you one.
Okay.
So, funding's approved tonight towards the planning proposal from Huddle Up. I read through the documents a little bit. Sounds like they send some of their people here,
They do. Mhm.
and there's some other work to be done. But people hearing this in the community, getting excited about it. Talk a little bit about outcomes and potential where this leads in the future.
So part of their process, and one of the things that is valuable, is that they come to our community and they want to talk to local stakeholders. They want to talk to the city. They want to talk to the sports groups. They want to talk to see what the needs are in the community, because part of this proposal is assessing community needs and trying to meet those meet those goals. So that's an important part of the process. They come at least twice, but there will be probably calls and video Zoom interactions in between. It's important to this group that after they complete their study, which is about 6 months long, and I did speak to them. They are, the proposal you have in front of you started in July. They have agreed to change the dates of the contract from September until February, whatever 6 months is. And that, but without changing the cost. Even though their costs have risen, they agreed to keep the cost the same. So they will come at least twice and survey what we have and do an assessment. They have, they developed the Sports Tourism Index that's used all over the nation to determine the value of sports and what's going to work in what community. So they will come and do that, and then they will also interview and talk to people in the community. So it's a 6-month process. They would start, if this is approved and we all develop the funding, they will start in September. They will probably come October-ish. We do have an advantage with this company. They are in Wisconsin for a couple reasons anyway. They are presenting at the Upper Midwest Convention and Visitor Bureaus Conference, which is in Fox Cities in September, and they are also coming to do a FAM, a familiarization tour with Travel Wisconsin, which is the State Department of Tourism. So they are actually going to be in Wisconsin in the fall, which we can benefit from as well, timing-wise.
Excellent, thank you. One more call for questions or comments on this item? Or our speaker? Okay,
Thank you for your attention.
thank you. So, original motion made by Mr. Tim
I'll
to
second.
approve. There is a second by Veneman. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Item 5, consider for approval the appointment of Kurt Mitchell as successor agent for the Retail Class B fermented malt beverage and Retail Class B intoxicating liquor licenses for the Buck Rub of Wisconsin Rapids LLC, DBA The Buck Rub, the premise located at 1511 First Street North.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Veneman to approve the license. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Item 6, consider for approval the appointment of Rhonda A. Erlub as successor agent for the Retail Class A fermented malt beverages and the Retail Class A intoxicating liquor licenses for GPM Southeast LLC, Bread and Butter Shop number 4532 for the premise located at 2130 A Street South.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Second. Joe.
That's all right. Motion by Veneman, second by Catnaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Item 7, consider for approval the appointment of Rhonda A. Erlub as successor agent for Retail Class A fermented malt beverages and Retail Class A intoxicating liquor licenses for GPM Southeast LLC Bread and Butter Shop number 4533 for the premise located at 1740 17th Avenue South. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Catnaw, second by Veneman. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Item 8, consider for approval a special event application from the Heart of Wisconsin Chamber of Commerce for a downtown Grand Avenue Fair special event to be held on Sunday, September 7th, 2025, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. to include suspension of the open container ordinance for the following streets and adjoining sidewalks: Grand Avenue from 3rd Street to 4th Avenue, keeping the intersection at 3rd Avenue open. 1st Avenue from West Grand Avenue to Chase Street. 2nd Avenue South from mid-block north of West Grand Avenue to Johnson Street. Johnson Street from 1st Avenue South to 2nd Avenue South. And would you like to speak on this? Stacy is gonna come up and say a few words.
Hello, Stacy Keevy, President and CEO for the Heart of Wisconsin Chamber. So you might be wondering why this is coming to you, because this event has been taking place for many, many years. Everything is staying the same. The only difference, which is why it's being brought to you, is that we are asking to suspend open container. So that just like you guys have it for the 4th of July celebration, right? People are able to go in to, let's say, Bee's Tap House, grab a sealed drink, and then walk and enjoy the car show and the vendor fair with a beverage. So that is the only difference. Again, just like any other event, with suspending open container, you have to have it sealed when you're stepping out of the bar until you get to wherever we have those streets closed. And then they would be able to drink that. So that's the only change. Any questions?
Thank you, Stacy, for the information. So it sounds like it'll be the typical great event down there. They're looking to have open container this year. So committee, what are your wishes?
Motion to approve?
I guess I was just going to ask a question. Do we know if the police department knows about this and as far as staffing and different things?
Stacy's on her way back up.
I haven't had the conversation yet because it hasn't been approved. But we have been having conversations with police, fire, public works, city engineer for all of our events. So there's a plan in place to have police presence and anyways. So, but I feel it doesn't really do me any good until it's approved to have those further conversations. So.
Before she walks away, is that the answer you were looking for, or?
That was it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I'd second that then.
All right, so we have a motion by Veneman, second by Tim, to approve the suspension of the open container ordinance for the Grand Affair. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Item 9, consider requests from the Krashiva family, LLC, Sleep Inn and Suites, Wisconsin Rapids. Udam Patel, agent for a retail Class B fermented malt beverage license for the premise located at 4221 8th Street South. I'll make a motion to approve the license.
Second?
Motion by Katnoff, second by Veneman. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. Item 10, consider requests from the Community Development Department to apply for a certified local government grant through the Wisconsin Historical Society for the nomination of historic district properties. Mr. Kearns.
Thank you. Provided a referral as part of this for both of the next items. In summary, we're looking to apply for another CLG grant to take the historic district, the 3 historic districts that were nominated, or I'm sorry, that were identified within the intensive survey that was completed, to take those to the next step to nominate them to the National Register of Historic Places. That's a pretty lengthy process, usually done by a consultant, and the State Historical Preservation Office allows for grants to be pursued to hire those consultants to do that. There is no match for that grant, but we would ask for the maximum award amount of $50,000, which would hopefully allow us to do 1 to 2 of the districts and possibly a few individual properties as well. Thank you.
Not a long one, but anytime something like this comes up, just for those watching a meeting that might be like, what is the historical preservation districts? Can you just give a quick?
So this would be our second CLG grant that we've applied for. Last year, we received one in the amount of $35,000 to hire a consultant. That consultant did a survey of the entire community and identified where there are potential historic districts. Once we nominate them to the National Register of Historic Places, which is the next step, property owners within those districts can pursue historic tax credits if the improvements they do to their home are historically accurate. Meaning if you have Cedar Shakes shingles and you're looking to replace them with a like material that's historically accurate, you can apply for tax credits that you get from the state to reduce that cost and that burden on that homeowner. So that hopefully kind of maintains the integrity of the historic home. I will note, and I've noted several times, that being in a historic district at the national and state register does not prevent you from removing your historic your historic items. You can remove the cedar shakes and replace it with vinyl siding if you want. You just cannot access tax credits.
Thank you for that. I will make a motion to approve the request from the Community Development Department to apply for, there's two of them, the Certified Local Government Grant through the Wisconsin Historical Society for nomination of historic districts and properties.
I'll second.
Second.
Who wants it? It's a tie. All right, we'll give it to Mike. Motion by Katnoff, second by Tim. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Consider a request from the Community Development Department to apply for an idle site grant through the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation for redevelopment purposes at 700 Dura Beauty Lane.
So this is a request from a recent property owner that purchased this property. They're looking to move over their process and fabrication business into the facility and occupy about 35,000 square feet of it, and then turn the remaining portion of the building into other tenant suites that hopefully would attract other businesses to do likewise, expand within the facility. Many of you know this was a former paper mill property. It's quite large, and that means it needs quite a bit of work, right? It's been vacant for the last 5 years, so it needs a new roof. HVAC needs to be updated, and there are some other improvements. Given the large size of the building, those improvements are quite costly, in the tune of millions of dollars. And so the WEDC offers assistance for large idle industrial sites like this. One of the stipulation is that it's over 5 acres. This fits that, and it's over the certain size requirement as well. And so very much, or very similar to the CDI grant that we applied for the Shopco project, this idle sites grant is a pass-through grant, meaning that the city is the eligible entity that can pursue applying for the grant, and if awarded, we then pass the dollars through to the developer. It was the same instance in the Shopco redevelopment where we obtained the same amount of money, $250,000, so they could put 2 additional loading docks on, and we passed the money through. There is a commitment to this, which I mentioned in the referral, and that is an audit, which was also a commitment with the CDI grant for Shopco. That audit, I think, was a couple $1,000s. I think Tim can speak to that process more than I can. I just see it as, maybe part of the city's, in-kind contribution towards economic development and revitalization of these development projects. So I'm recommending approval. The WEDC thinks we have a good chance of getting these funds and helping this business owner out. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Veneman,
I'll second it.
all right, second by Tim. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Item 12 is audit of the bills. I'll make a motion to approve checks number 26435 through 26885.
Second.
Motion by Catnaw, second by Veneman to approve. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna ask if you could put the total, what you're paying.
Yeah, I don't have the
No,
total.
I don't.
The total of those checks is $3,146,274.89.
Did not catch that. Are you good with that? Okay. All right, so motion by Catnaw, second by Veneman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mike?
Sorry if you didn't hear me. Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes 3-0. Item 13, set next meeting date. We agreed earlier we would meet on August 19th before the council meeting to take up the contract and determine the final location for the Safe Haven baby box. So that will be August 19th at 5 p.m. All right, item 14. In open session, the committee may vote to go into,
I was gonna say, do you want to set your next regularly scheduled one? That would probably, I think, September 2nd.
we'll throw it again on the 19th,
Okay.
and then we'll go from there. So there might be a couple, one of the items on the 19th agenda will be set next meeting date. So we're going to move on to item 14. In open session, the committee may vote to go into closed session under section 19.85, para 1, para E of the Wisconsin statute, which reads, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. In closed session, the committee will discuss an update on the sale and development of a property in the downtown Triangle area, and will discuss negotiation and strategy regarding the selling of the property and the terms of a development agreement for a downtown development. And just for everyone's attention, this committee will adjourn in closed session. So at this point, looking for a motion to move into closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Were you going to make some motion where the two people in the audience are going to be allowed in the closed session before you vote on it?
Well, typically, what we'll do is we'll go into closed session, discuss amongst ourselves, and then invite them in. So,
Well, I kind of disagree how you're doing it, but you're chairing it, so.
yeah, well, this is kind of standard procedure because it is the discussion of public property. So at this point, we kind of keep the elected officials and staff in. Then when we all have an understanding of what the discussion is about, we'll bring in other people.
Right.
Go ahead.
Right, plus we wouldn't be able to go into closed session if it was just something, I mean, the whole reason to go into closed session is to negotiate and strategize without the other party here. If we were just going to keep them in here, we would have to stay in open session.
All right, so we are looking for a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
I will second it.
Second.
Motion by Veneman, second by Tim, to move into closed session. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. We will be moving into closed session.